Today's going to be an emotional day. Welcome back to Already Overbooked. And let's just jump right into what's been going on. So, quick channel updates and life updates. Today, as I mentioned on the intro, today's going to be an emotional day. My son, my oldest son, is graduating from kindergarten. And yeah, so we're getting ready to go to that. And that's going to be very emotional. There's going to be a lot of crying. But it's gonna be good. It's the beginning of summer. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a blast, but it's gonna be some emotions. So, what else is happening from a channel update? I had a fantastic conversation a few days ago now with Rowdy from Rowdy Player One. We went through and talked about Empire of Silence right there, and it was great. If you missed it, you definitely need to go back and listen to that one. I really enjoyed the book. Rowdy wasn't a huge fan of the book, so it was a very good, deep discussion on the pros and cons of this book. We talked about parallels within the characters in real life. We went through and spoke about symbolism in the book. It was a lot. We went pretty deep on this conversation. So a lot of fun. Definitely go through and check it out if you have not. I'll stick it somewhere up here. You can go through and check it out. So let's jump in to why you're really here and on to the books that I read last week. So I ended up going through and reading 3 books last week. The first book I ended up listening to, and that was the newest book by Alex North, The Man Made of Smoke. Now, without going into too much detail about this, because I went into this completely blind, and I highly recommend you doing the same thing, because it is true Alex North story. And I say that if you understand how Alex writes his stories, they are going to be screwed up in premise, they're going to be horrific, they're going to be terrifying, but done so well. So this was also right up there. It was a slow burn. That the only part for me was I felt the ending kind of fell flat. The antagonist just was there the whole time, but just showed up at the end and gave an info dump of why they were doing what they were doing. It made sense with why within the story. I wasn't a big fan of it. So was it Alex's best work? No, but I did also enjoy the story very well. So highly recommend going through and checking out Alex's most recent book, The Man Made of Smoke. The next book I ended up going through and finishing was A Fold to Extinction by Sean Fitzgerald. Now, this book was leaned into the horror side. It was very brutal. It had a Jurassic Park nest to it. Now, it wasn't like a cookie cutter of Jurassic Park. This really felt like its own, but it also had the same feeling and tone of Jurassic Park. It felt like a someone who really truly appreciated what Michael Crichton did with Jurassic Park, but wanted to give their own twist to it. And that's exactly what Sean did with A Fold to Extinction. It is its own story, same kind of beats that you're going to be used to, but very intensified. He definitely elevated the horror and the graphics and the gore within this. It was very fun. Definitely go through and check out A Fold to Extinction. The final book I ended up going through and reading was an art copy of Wisdom Takes Work. This is another great work by Ryan Holiday. This was his fourth book in the Stoic series, if I'm not mistaken. As normal with Ryan Holiday's stories, the stories within the book are great. He has even better quotes within his work, but to me, at least, nothing stood out to me. Nothing had that oh moment of, oh, I never thought about this. A lot of it was more of a reassurance of particular traits you would want to have to gain wisdom. So, jumping into what am I currently reading, I'm actually going through and reading 2 books. The first one is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I'm doing this is a buddy read. with Chris and Logan, and I have to wait for everyone to catch up because we're going to be discussing part one. So I have a lot of thoughts about this. Is this Joe's best story? No. Is it still great? Of course, it's Joe Abercrombie. He writes amazing characters, great prose. Stories are always fantastic. But from comparing Joe Abercrombie to Joe Abercrombie, this is not his best work. There's a lot more humor in this, unlike First Law. First Law did have humor, but this has everyone being sarcastic. But we'll see how that goes and continues within the story once we actually get into the meat of the book. So far, I'm really liking it, even with those differences that I've gotten so used to with some of his other work. So the other book that I'm going through and reading is The Keep. This is the first book of F. Paul Wilson's Adversary. The Adversary something. I can't remember the name of the series. It's all part of the Repairman Jack world. So this one really about vampires killing Nazis, and that's kind of what so far that I'm in the book is Nazis are dying, getting killed by a vampire. So we'll see how the story continues. So far, it's been fun. So jumping into the next section, what did I buy, pre-order, or receive in the mail? I ended up getting 5 books. Some of these I bought, some of these were given to me from the authors. And let's jump into the first one. I ended up going through and getting Moriarty by Gavin Collinson. So this book is about Sherlock Holmes is gone, Moriarty is not, and the world is running out of time. So it's been 3 years since Sherlock Holmes vanished beneath the roaring waters of Wretchback Falls, and the world has moved on. At least everyone but one person. And that is Dr. John Watson. He's still grieving, he's still hardened, he's still haunted by the Sherlock Holmes disappearing. And when a killer emerges who leaves no clues, has no patterns, and feels no mercy, it will take a genius to stop them. Enter Professor James Moriarty. Moriarty offers a dangerous alliance to Holmes's oldest friend, but catching the killer is only the first act. Behind the horror lies a threat so vast it could bring down nations. So Watson is dragged into a cat and mouse chase across a world on the brink, but nothing is what it seems. Not the murderers, not Moriarty's plan, and certainly not the truth about what really happened. This sounds awesome. I am a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, and James Moriarty is one of my favorite antagonists in all of literature. So I'm super excited to go through and jump in and kind of seeing how Watson deals with life without Sherlock. So jumping into the second one, this is Son of the Thunder Goddess by Andrew Lavecchi. So this is about the city of Brudenmung is besieged. Solak, the demigod, leads an army of thousands to its walls, eager to pillage and kill. Covered from head to toe in tattooed runes, he bears the blessings of the gods themselves. No weapons can pierce his skin. One by one, heroes are falling. Morale is weakened, and victory, it looks imminent. Only one man can stand up against him. That is Athelwayne, a lonely shepherd of the countryside, longs for a life of heroic adventures. When the warriors go into Athelwayne's village and slaughters all the warriors, Athelwayne is set out on a quest for vengeance, assisted by an ancient, long forgotten god known only as the Maker. Now, Athelwayne must wield the power of this unknown deity to defeat his divinely protected enemy and thwart his bloodly dreams of conquest. If Athelwayne fails, his dreams of justice dies with him, and all of Loghain will fall to ruin. This sounds really cool. It based off of the description that I just read, it gives off that David and Goliath kind of story. with different kind of twists. So this is a shorter book. I'm very excited to go in and check out Andrew's book. I think this one could be a lot of fun. The next one is The Forsaken Planet by Brian Wilson. When mysterious aircrafts wreak havoc across Earth's skies, it is revealed that there are clusters of other planets where humankind resides. Distant worlds where the people wield the power of the stars themselves. It is an energy force that can bring about miracles, or, as the alien fleet's ruthless leader displays, unleash horrors beyond imagination. After experiencing a loss during the onslaught, Colton Sampson, an ordinary college student, vows to protect his loved ones at any cost. But to learn the power to do so, he must enlist into the army of the Universal Throne, a second alien force that has its own agenda. With the revelation of a secret prophecy foretelling humanity's demise and Colton's improbable role in preventing it, he embarks alongside a diverse group of friends to the throne's capital. There, he faces prejudice from supposed allies, lifelike combat simulations that test him to his core, and a looming threat of a universal war. Only by embracing his true potential can Colton hope to secure the safety he seeks in a universe that views him as nothing more than a forsaken. All right, now that sounds pretty cool. It has some tropes that sound very familiar in other works that I've gone through, like Ender's Game. It gives off like an Ender's Game kind of feel with based on the description. But I hear a lot of great things about Brian Wilson's works, and from specifically from people who we have similar taste in books. So definitely going to jump into this very soon. It sounds very cool, so I'm excited to see what Brian brings to the table. The next one is Obsidian Murders by Nicole Brana. This one's about Tessa O'Hare, who is tired of people thinking she's crazy. Grown up sensitive to the supernatural and deemed mentally unstable by really every therapist she's ever seen. Tessa moves to Washington, D.C. to start fresh. But when there are two murders in her neighborhood that reek of magic, she's a bit freaked out and utterly regretting her decisions to become a semi functional adult. Seeking aid from a vampiric detective, a grumpy house fairy, and several local Wiccan covens, she is determined to use her ability to help. But Tessa and her new friends are at a loss when the case abruptly goes cold with no leads or suspects. Can Tessa help find the killer before another woman is found dead? Maybe. I don't. This sounds really cool, um, and it gives off that Dresden Files feel, which I'm a huge Dresden File fan. So I'm excited to go through and check this one out. Might be a perfect palette cleanser between some of these big books that I'm going to be reading very soon. So super excited. Obsidian Murders by Nicole Brana. The last one is a nonfiction book that I received an art copy of. The It's called The Intelligence Explosion: When AI Beats Humans at Everything by James Barrett. In The Intelligence Explosion, James Barrett, a leading technology expert, equips readers with the tools to navigate the complex and often chaotic landscape of modern AI. This compelling book dives deep into the challenges posed by generative AI, exposing how tech companies have built systems that are both error prone and impossible to fully interpret. Through insightful interviews with AI pioneers, Barrett highlights the unstable trajectory of AI development, showcasing its potential for modest benefits and catastrophic consequences. So I am getting really deep into potentials of AI, the good and the bad. So I'm excited to go through and jump into the intelligence explosion to see what different insights James brings to the AI discussion. So, jumping into what is happening next week, I am very excited for this upcoming week. We have a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. The first one is on Monday. I'm going to be going through and doing a review of Shadow Bane by Cal Logan. This is a grimdark, brutal, feudal Japan inspired world with epic battles, betrayals, and a prophecy that will tear everything apart. This is a must watch and a must read. Definitely go through and check out the interview, the review on Monday. It is going to be fantastic, and you're going to get a lot of great insights on why you definitely need to pick up this one. Then on Tuesday is a long awaited interview with the great Adrian Gibson, author of Mushroom Blues. We are having a conversation on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am extremely excited for this conversation. You are not going to want to miss it. We're going to go deep about mushrooms and everything about this amazing book that I highly, highly recommend you going through and checking out if for some reason you have not. On Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have two shorts coming out. Super excited for those to come out. And then on Friday, we have another weekly update where we will talk all things books. So now jumping into my favorite two sections of our weekly wrap up, and that is Indie Author Spotlight and BookTuber Spotlight. So starting with Indie Author Spotlight. For this week, I want to go through and highlight Alex Ark. He is the author of The Source of Strife. This is such a fun fantasy western with hard magic system. I went through and read this and really enjoyed this book, and I'm really looking forward to future works from Alex. If you haven't checked out any of Alex's work, I highly recommend starting with The Source of Strife. I will have a link to his website and to the book and to Alex's social media in the description below. Check out Alex. He's fantastic. Such a cool guy. And also check out his book. It is awesome. All right, so leaning into the final thing, we're going to be going to talking about BookTuber Spotlight. And this week, I am honored to spotlight Michael from Author Adjacent. Michael is a very, very nice guy and does awesome interviews. So, what's different with Michael compared to other people, myself included, who does interviews with authors, he leans way into the journey of being a writer. So, you're going to be able to get the behind the curtains of your favorite authors and what's their process. How do they go through and think of these ideas, and how do they structure their works? As a up and coming author himself, Michael really understands the logistics behind it, and his curiosity, it really pops out during the interviews because he truly is interested and truly wants to know the nitty gritty details on processes and understanding of authors. So, highly recommend. I love watching all of his interviews. I binge them constantly and watch them over and over again and finding new little nuggets in there that I didn't catch the first time. So, go through, check out Michael on Author Adjacent. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It is a great channel to go through and check out. So that's it for this week's weekly wrap up. I had a fantastic week. I am super hyped for this upcoming week. It's when the summer officially begins and we can start planning some more vacations, which means more time for books. So I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. And don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one.